When the Caribbean was a playground for those who dared to sail its waters, their exploits and legacies continue to ignite our imaginations. Life as a Caribbean pirate was both thrilling and treacherous. Pirates nomadic existence, sailing from one plundering escapade to another. Their days were filled with a blend of excitement, camaraderie, and constant vigilance. Welcome, mateys! You're back for another installment of the History of Pirates, Part 4, the Pirates of the Caribbean, as it were. A mix of 16th century, 17th century, and whatnot centuries. We will begin with the daily life of what was like to move on to more details about their boats, how they eluded capture, famous, non-famous salty dogs, and lesser-known facts you most likely will only hear here. Get ready to hoist the sails and shiver me timbers here on the pirate stories from the golden age of adventures. The pirates' routine revolved around maintaining their ships, navigating treacherous waters, and preparing for raids. They hoisted sails, checked cannons, repaired rigging, and kept a watchful eye for potential prey. Life aboard a pirate ship was filled with action, camaraderie, and a bit of mischief. From dawn till dusk, the crew worked as one, maintained their vessel, prepared for battles, and navigated the treacherous waters of the high seas. Our journey begins with the crack of dawn. Pirates were early risers, as the first light meant it was time to get to work. The crew would begin their daily cleaning the ship's deck and performing necessary repairs, ensuring the ship was seaworthy and ready for action. Pirate ships were their homes. So cleanliness and organization were crucial for survival. From the lowliest deckhand to the most seasonal captain, everyone had a role to play. Next on the list was the ship's galley, where the cook, also known as the ship's cook, would whip up hearty meals to keep the crew well fed and energized for the adventure. Pirates enjoyed a simple diet consisting of salted meats, hard tack, dried fruits, and sometimes fresh catches from the sea. The cook had to be resourceful with limited supplies and make do with whatever they had. As the ship sailed the open waters, navigation was a vital task. The ship's quartermaster and navigator would work together to plot the course, read the stars, and ensure they were headed in the right direction. Navigating without modern technology was no easy feat, but the pirates' skills and knowledge of the seas made them adept to finding their way. Of course, being pirates, they had to be ever ready for battle. The gunnery crew would practice their skills with the ship's cannons, ensuring they were prepared for hostile encounters. Cannons were the pirates' most potent weapon, and being skilled at using them could be the difference between victory and defeat. Amidst their daily tasks, pirates also found time for leisure and entertainment. They'd spend their off hours playing games, singing sea shanties, and sharing tales of their adventures. A sense of camaraderie and community was essential on a pirate ship, and these moments of bonding helped forge strong bonds among the crew. As the sun sets on the horizon, the pirates would gather for a shared meal and reflect on the day's events. It was a time to relax and enjoy the camaraderie that made their pirate brotherhood so strong. As darkness fell, the night watch would take over, keeping a vigilant eye on the seas and any potential threats. And so, the daily routines of the pirates during the Golden Age allowed these daring buccaneers to thrive and rule the seas. The tasks they performed, the camaraderie they shared, and the adventure they sought made their lives aboard a pirate ship truly unforgettable. The pirate ships, known as pirate sloops or pirate ships of the line, were versatile vessels built for speed and maneuverability. They were typically armed with cannons and had ample cargo space to accommodate stolen treasures. These ships were often modified with additional weaponry such as swivel guns and mortars to intimidate and overpower their targets. Their sleek design allowed pirates to navigate shallow waters and swiftly evade pursuit. Pirates faced the constant threat of naval forces, primarily the British Navy, whose mission was to suppress piracy in the Caribbean. Naval vessels patrolled the waters, seeking to apprehend and bring pirates to justice. Pirates used their knowledge of the region's intricate coastlines and hidden passageways to outmaneuver the Navy. They relied on their agility and familiarity with the Caribbean's nooks and crannies to escape capture. During the 1600s, the pirates of the Caribbean, particularly those operating in the West Indies, utilized their extensive knowledge of the region's intricate coastlines and hidden passageways to outmaneuver the British Navy and other naval authorities. Their understanding of the local geography combined with their superior navigational skills gave them the strategic advantage and allowed them to evade capture and plan successful attacks. Here are some key ways pirates used their knowledge of the region to their advantage. Navigating treacherous waters. The Caribbean waters were known for their treacherous reefs, sandbars, and shallow areas. Pirates, who often started as sailors or privateers, as first-hand experience navigating these hazardous waters. They knew how to avoid potential dangers, allowing them to maneuver swiftly and safely, especially in areas where larger naval vessels might struggle. Familiarity with the coastal hideouts. Pirates were well versed in identifying hidden coves, bays, and inlets along the coastlines that served as a perfect hiding spots for their ships. These secluded locations provided them with safe havens where they could repair their vessels, rest, and plan their next raids beyond the reach of the British Navy. Utilizing the tides and the currents, pirates understood the patterns of the tides and the currents in the region. This knowledge enabled them to plan their voyages strategically, taking advantage of the favorable currents to propel their ships swiftly, or using tidal movements to approach enemy ships discreetly. Knowledge of trade routes. Pirates often had extensive information about the routes used by merchant ships and naval convoys. They knew where to lie in wait for this lucrative targets or weakly defended vessels, increasing their chances of a success in attack and plunder. Smuggling routes. Pirates were not only skilled at attacking ships but also adept at smuggling goods. They knew secret routes and channels through which they could move stolen or contraband goods discreetly, evading the watchful eye of the British Navy and the customs officials. Contraband goods. Pirates often smuggled goods that were considered illegal or heavily taxed by the colonial authorities. This could include goods like spices, tobacco, and textiles that were subject to strict trade regulations and tariffs. Stolen treasure. After successfully raiding merchant ships in coastal towns, pirates would smuggle away their plundered treasures, including gold, silver, precious gems, and valuable artifacts, rum, and other spirits. Pirates were known for their love of rum and other spirits. They often smuggled large quantities of alcohol, as it was in high demand among their crews and could be used as a form of payment or trade during their voyages. Slaves. Tragically, pirates were involved in the slave trade, smuggling enslaved people to various locations in the Caribbean and beyond. As for secret routes in the Caribbean, pirates had an advantage in navigating these waters due to their knowledge of the hidden passageways and less traveled routes. Some examples of the secret routes in the Caribbean during the 1600s included Windward Passage. The Windward Passage, located between Cuba and Haiti, was a strategic route for pirates moving between the Atlantic and the Caribbean. Its narrow and treacherous waters allowed pirates to evade naval patrols and enemy ships. The Old Bahama Channel. This route, located off the coast of Florida and the Bahamas, was known for its shallow waters and numerous cays and reefs. Pirates used these channels to hide from pursuers and launch attacks on unsuspecting merchant vessels. The Mona Passage. Situated between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, the Mona Passage was a vital route for pirates traveling between the Caribbean islands and the Spanish Main. Its strong currents and unprotected winds made it difficult for the larger naval vessels to navigate, giving pirates an advantage in evading capture. The Sargasso Sea. Pirates would sometimes use the Sargasso Sea in an area in the North Atlantic Ocean with floating mats of sargassum seaweed as a hiding spot. Its remote location and labyrinth-like structure made it a perfect place to disappear from the naval patrols. The Mosquito Coast. This region along the eastern coast of the present-day Nicaragua and Honduras was notorious for its dense mangrove swamps and intricate waterways. Pirates used these waterways to hide from naval forces and lay in wait for potential targets. The Yucatan Channel. Located between Cuba and Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, this channel offered pirates a route between the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. Its relatively isolated location made it suitable for evading detection. These secret routes, coupled with pirates' extensive knowledge of the region's geography, allowed them to operate with relative impunity and conduct their illicit activities, making them elusive and formidable adversaries for the naval authorities during the golden age of pirates. Coastal and island warfare. Pirates were masters of coastal and island warfare. They knew how to launch surprise attacks from the cover islands, using terrain to their advantage to launch ambushes and disappear quickly. Gathering intelligence, pirates often had well-established networks of informants, including local sympathizers or former sailors who provided them with valuable information from British Navy patrols, convoy schedules, and other navigational movements. Other naval movements. Psychological warfare. Pirates were known to instill fear in their enemies. Their reputation for ruthlessness, coupled with their knowledge of the region, allowed them to strike fear into the hearts of the adversaries. This psychological advantage sometimes led naval forces to avoid direct confrontations with notorious pirate captains. Overall, the pirates of the Caribbean in the 1600s were skilled navigators and strategics. Their intimate knowledge of the region's coastlines, currents, and secret passageways gave them a distinct edge over the British Navy, and allowed them to thrive as daring and elusive buccaneers. Their cunning tactics and ability to outmaneuver their adversaries made them formidable opponents in the high-stakes game of piracy during the Golden Ages. The Pirates of the Caribbean's pirate hideout and coves. Pirates sought refuge in secluded hideouts and hidden coves scattered across the Caribbean. These secret enclaves provided safe havens where pirates could repair their ships, divide their spoils, and restock provisions. Some notorious pirate hideouts included Tortuga, Port Royal, and Nassau. You can see my full video on Port Royal on the link above if you'd like to. These locations became bustling centers of pirate activity, attracting sailors, merchants, and adventurers from far and wide. Pirates had a distinct fashion sense that embodied both practicality and flamboyance. Their attire was reflection of their rebellious spirit and defiance of social norms. Pirates favored loose-fitting clothing, often donning breeches, loose shirts, and vests, allowing for freedom of movement during battles. They adorned themselves with sashes, bandanas, and wide-brimmed hats, adding a touch of style to their rugged appearance. Pirate crews were comprised of individuals from diverse backgrounds, seeking adventure and fortune on the high seas. These crews formed tight-knit communities bound by common purpose and a shared code. Crew members worked collaboratively, carrying out tasks such as navigating, handling sails, operating cannons, and boarding enemy vessels. They operated under a strict hierarchy, with the captain as the helm making crucial decisions for the crew's survival and success. Some of the most famous pirates and why. Among the multitude of pirates who sailed the Caribbean, a few notorious figures became legendary for their exploits and left an inevitable mark in pirate lore. Let's explore these stories of some of the most famous pirates and delve into why they gained such enduring fame. Blackbeard, known for his fearsome appearance and strategic tactics, was one of the most feared pirates of his time. With his thick black beard, he struck terror into the hearts of those unfortunate enough to cross his path. Blackbeard's legend grew through his strategic use of intimidation. He tied slow-burning fuses into his beard and lit them during battle, creating a menacing and otherworldly image that struck fear into his adversaries. The notorious Anne Bonny and Calico Jack Rackman. Anne Bonny and Calico Jack Rackman were infamous pirates who defied the conventions of their time. Anne Bonny, known for her fierce spirit, fought alongside her male counterparts, dressed as a man to blend in with the crew. Calico Jack Rackman, recognizable by his flamboyant clothing and distinctive calico garments, was a charismatic captain who led a crew renowned for their audacity and rebelliousness. Why did they become famous? These pirates became famous due to the combination of their daring exploits, unique personalities, and the tales that spread about their adventures. Their stories were perpetuated through folklore, literature, and later popularized in books and films. The allure of these pirates lies in their defiance of norms, societal norms, and their embodiment of freedom and adventure. Their rebellious and charismatic nature captured the imaginations of people across generations. The legacies of these famous pirates continue to captivate us today. Their tales have inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, perpetuating their iconic status in popular culture. Their stories serve as a reminder of the allure and romance associated with the golden age of piracy, a time when individuals sought escape from the constraints of society and pursued a life of freedom and adventure on top the high seas. Some of the lesser known pirates of those days. Yes, indeed. While the stories of the famous pirates like Blackbeard and Captain Kidd and Bartholomew Roberts often dominated the narratives of Caribbeans in the 1600s, there were many lesser-known pirates who played significant roles during that time. These lesser-known pirates may not be as infamous, but their exploits and contributions to the era of piracy are noteworthy. Here are a few of them. Anne de Levet, also known as Anne D or Anne Dukes de Vex. Anne Levet was a female pirate who operated in the Caribbean during the late 17th century. She was a member of the infamous pirate captain Jean David Now, known as Francis Leoliness, and proved to be as fierce as her male counterparts, participating in raids and battles. She is remembered for her daring spirit and determination in the male-dominated world of piracy. Michael de Gramont was a French pirate active in the Caribbean during the mid-17th century. He was often overshadowed by other well-known pirates, but he was a formidable figure in his own right. Gramont is famous for leading a successful raid on the wealthy city of Camechi, capturing numerous Spanish ships and amassing a considerable fortune through piracy. Laurens de Graaf, a Dutch pirate, operated in the Caribbean during the late 17th century. He was one of the key figures in the notorious pirate Republic of Tortuga. De Graaf had a reputation for his cunning and tactical acumen, which helped him evade capture multiple times despite the British and Spanish authorities' attempts to catch him. Stede Bonnet, often referred to as the gentleman pirate, was a Barbadian planter who turned to piracy during the early 18th century. He purchased a ship, named it Revenge, and sailed the Caribbean waters, though his lack of experience made him a rather inept pirate. Despite his unsuccessful career as a pirate, his story reflects the diverse backgrounds and motivations that led individuals to turn to piracy during that era. Emmanuel Wine, a Welsh pirate, operated in the Caribbean during the 18th century. He is known for capturing several English ships and attacking coastal towns. becoming a prominent figure in the pirate lore. Wynne was one of the few pirates who displayed a flag with the motto Liberty on it, showcasing a sense of rebellion against oppressive authorities. These lesser known pirates, along with many others, contributed to the colorful and tumultuous history of piracy in the Caribbean during the 1600s, 1700s, and 1800s. Their exploits and stories provide further insight into the diverse and complex world of piracy during the Golden Age. The Golden Age of Caribbean piracy is a fascinating period filled with numerous captivating stories and lesser known facts. Here are some interesting and lesser known facts. Lesser known points of interest about the Caribbean pirates of that era. Pirate governance. Pirates often operated under a strict code of conduct known as the Pirate Code or Articles of Agreement. This code outlined rules and regulations governing the conduct of the crew, division of loot, and the treatment of captured prisoners. Contrary to popular belief, pirate crews were often highly organized and democratically governed, electing their captain and quartermaster. Pirate elections. Pirates believed in democratic elections. For important decisions, the captain and the other officers were elected by the crew, and if the captain was deemed unfit and unsuccessful, they would be voted out of power. Diverse crews. Pirates' crews were remarkably diverse, consisting of individuals from various nationalities, races, and backgrounds. Africans, Europeans, Native Americans, and even escaped slaves all found their place among the ranks of pirates. Females. While female pirates like Anne Bonny and Mary Read are well known, there were many other women who became pirates during the Golden Age. These women defied social norms and played active roles as a crew member, navigators, and fierce fighters. Pirate havens. The Caribbean had several pirate havens and safe havens where pirates could repair their ships, resupply, and enjoy leisure time. Notable pirate havens included Tortuga, Nassau, later known as the Republic of Pirates, and Port Royal. Pirate privateering or legal piracy was a common practice during the Golden Age. Governments issued letters of marque to privateers, authorizing them to attack enemy ships during these times of war. Some pirates started as privateers and later turned to piracy for their freedom and profit. Letters of reprisal. Some pirates obtained letters of reprisal from enemy governments, which provided a legal justification for their actions, making them akin to privateers. These letters allowed pirates to attack specific enemies during periods of conflict. Pirates used various signals and symbols to communicate with each other, particularly when ships were out of earshot. Flags, pennants, and lantern signals were used to convey messages and coordinate attacks. Abandoned ships. Pirates sometimes encountered abandoned or derelict ships at sea. They would repair and refit these ships, giving them additional vessels to strengthen their fleet. Torture of captives. While pirates were often depicted as romantic figures, they could also be brutal and ruthless. Some pirate captains were known for torturing captives to extract information about valuable cargo or hidden treasure. These lesser known facts offer a more nuanced and complex understanding of the Caribbean pirates of the Golden Age. The history of piracy in the Caribbean is filled with intrigue, adventure, and surprise, making it a captivating subject for exploration and study. The tales of these infamous pirates remind us of a bygone era when the Caribbean was a playground for those who dared to sail its waters. Their exploits and legacies continue to ignite our imaginations, forever etching their names in the annals of pirate history. Join us next time on this channel, Pirate Stories from the Golden Age of Adventures. And we will continue our journey through the captivating world of pirates and uncover more thrilling stories from the seven seas. Our mateys, have a salty time.